Hi everyone, my name is Jameson, and this is my very first Amazon.com video review, hopefully the first of many. I'd appreciate any feedback or comments that you have after the video, so without further ado, let's get right into it. This is the Blue Yeti microphone. It is about under $100 most of the time. Prices seem to fluctuate. It does have a Pro version, but don't assume that, oh, I need the Pro and everything else is garbage. That's not quite the case. I've had mostly good experiences with this microphone, and none of the problems I've had with it have been due to quality. It's been very good. It records up to 48 kilohertz and 16 bits, so not bad at all. The Pro does do considerably higher at 192 kilohertz and 24 bit, but honestly, I think this is just a great mic if you're streaming, if you are mixing video, or on Skype. It's just such a good mic for that. So what I'm going to do is cover a little bit about the outside, and I'm also going to give you my pros and cons at the end of the video. So frequently throughout the video, I may be referencing the box. I'm not going to do an unboxing video because we've all seen styrofoam, and it's not that exciting, I understand. But the box does have some very interesting graphics on it that may be helpful, like this image of the tri-capsule array. That allows you to do some pretty interesting things, but I'll make sure to get images to throw up and show you that. Throw up. Anyway, I'm not mature. So, on the front of the microphone, we have our mute button, and that's pretty self-explanatory. That stops the audio from going through. And they actually did the mute button pretty well. A lot of my mics, when you hit the mute button, it introduces a very loud pop into the signal. This didn't seem to do that, and I really like that. This volume knob is not the gain. The gain is actually on the back, but this volume knob is for the zero latency monitoring on the bottom there. You can actually plug in a pair of headphones and monitor without any latency what you're saying. So a lot of people do seem to prefer doing this through their computer, but if you really want to shave the milliseconds and you want to hear it true, you do have that option. I've actually recorded using that 3.5 headphone jack before, so it's nice to have those options. Turning it around here, we have the back, and this whole review is being recorded from the microphone itself, just to give you an idea of the audio quality. It's in cardioid mode right now, so I apologize if it trails off and on throughout the video since I'm turning the microphone. So you have your gain switch, which I'm not sure the exact stats on how high that goes or how low. I'll throw them up in the video, and man, I say throw up a lot. I'm apologizing for that right now. You can see there's 4 recording patterns, and I'm going to go ahead and switch this to stereo. And stereo, pretty self-explanatory. You can do left, and I cannot snap with my left hand, and you can do right. So this is cool and just makes you sound a little more omniscient. There are other applications for it as well. Personally, I do not use this very much, just because mono seems to work just fine for me. We all heard omni, or the cardioid, so I'm going to go to omnidirectional. Omnidirectional picks up everything equally. That entire array is being put to work. So if you wanted to record the ambiance of a room or a forest or something, you could do that. So you're probably hearing not a forest or deer frolicking right now, but you could probably hear the fans on my computer, my TV humming a little bit. So omnidirectional does have its uses, but again, such a versatile microphone. You can use this for so many things. This is bidirectional. I actually used this last week for an interview with someone that would be picking up the front and the back as well. So I'm at the front of the microphone, and now I'm at the side, and now I'm at the back of it. So you can see that it definitely does filter out the noise on the sides. And I thought it was just I thought it was a name only, pretty much. I thought it was just going to be omnidirectional, basically. But it really does matter, and it filters out a lot of the side. And I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to omnidirectional, and then we can get into the pros and cons. Okay, so my very first pro is that it's easy to set up and it's easy to use. This microphone, after getting a new cable for it, which I'll cover in my cons, worked absolutely fine with XSplit, Audition, Audacity. I can't even think of another program that I use it with. Premiere, I think I recorded directly into that. Sony Vegas, I did that. It just works fantastic, especially with Skype, and it's just done such a good job. You plug it in, and it just goes. That's Windows and Mac, and I'm sure Linux has a pain-free experience as well. And if it isn't, I'll test it shortly. I'll put that in the description of this video. But yeah, it's been so painless, and all you need is in the microphone itself. So if you were to buy a similar mic for about $100, let's say an SM58, you would need to buy some kind of preamp. And that's going to run you, you can buy one for as low as $30. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. That's just more equipment, though, that you need to use. Everything you need is inside, so it's uncluttered and inexpensive, just adding more value to the microphone. It's a really nice thing about it. I would say the other pro is that it's aesthetically pleasing. It just looks very nice, especially if you're a Mac user. I know one Mac fanboy who loves this microphone because it's just that nice brushed silver, and just having this set on a desk, just it's kind of a conversation piece almost. And quality obviously is a pro. It seems to do a great job being so versatile, but I'm sure you guys can already assume that. So let's get on to the dark side and cover the cons. Alright guys, so I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I did have troubles with the audio cable. Nothing wrong with the connections on the microphone itself. That's one thing I have with it. It wasn't the microphone's fault. I'm sure quality assurance is much lower for the cable than it is the actual microphone. So not much of a con there. The second con I had, or the first real con I guess you would say, is the bass. The bass, to me, is not very useful. This is probably not going to be an issue for some users out there, but the problem for me is that I bought this for PC use. I'm constantly talking into it and typing on my keyboard or clicking on my mouse. And despite the bass having these nice foam feet, the bass picks up a lot of that noise, and it makes it into the final product or the phone call, and that can annoy people. So I would say that if you're going to use this at your PC while typing, or using some kind of peripheral on your desk or something, buy a stand for it. Now it uses that 5/8 inch threaded stand, so it should be pretty easy. Those are quite cheap and you can use them for any microphone. But that leads me to another downside, is that once you screw these off, and you can take the bass off completely, and then screw the bass in there, if you don't have an elbow for your 5/8 stand, it looks kind of like a microphone spear, and it's a little awkward to maneuver. It's not very versatile in that way. So I'd recommend buying a simple 5/8 inch elbow for your mic stand if you're going to do that, or buy the shock mount, the spider mount for the or the Yeti series. That's going to cost you like $50 to $60, but if maneuverability is really huge for you, I recommend dropping the few extra dollars just so you can turn it a little easier. But that, again, is personal preference, and you don't necessarily need it on a mic stand. If you're doing vocals or anything, you can just completely skip that issue because you're not going to be using anything on the table or anything. Completely skip that. So the very last, I guess you would call it, con is kind of a blessing. Well, not a blessing. It's a curse and a blessing, as you would say. It picks up significantly more noise than other microphones that I have, other cardioid microphones that I have. Now, that's nice because you don't have to be in a very specific spot for that mic to pick up your voice. You can kind of move around a little bit. You're not as restricted. That's obviously not a good thing because you're picking up more information than you need. Your signal-to-noise ratio becomes closer. So that, I would say, is counterbalanced in the fact that it does so many other things. Bidirectional, omnidirectional stereo. It has so many capabilities. So being able to do all those and doing a cardioid mode, it sounds pretty decent, is actually a plus. It really depends what you're using this microphone for. So that would be the only last con I have. I guess we'll end the video, guys. Thanks for watching. This is my very first video, so I'm a little nervous, excited to see how the reception is, if there's reception. Let me know what you thought of this video and the microphone. And again, I'm Jameson, and I'll catch you next time.
I think that's just the name of it. Just, yep, Blue THX. And this is the one that I actually use like almost all the time whenever I'm doing any kind of like voiceover stuff. This is my go-to mic, and so far I've been pretty impressed with the quality on that one. And also there is the MXL Studio 24 USB. And both these, by the way, are USB, the Blue, as well as the MXL Studio 24. These are both USB mics, while this one is just your standard old analog, plug it in and go kind of headphone and microphone setup. And then also, just in case anybody is curious as to what this guy here is, that is an Audio-Technica AT875R, and that's what I'm recording with right now. So this way, you can kind of get an idea of what quality you can expect from all these different microphones. So I'm going to have to go ahead and cut away for a minute while I go ahead and set some of these things up, and then let's get the test underway.
Okay, so first up are the COS SB45s, and this is the way that they sound right now. And hopefully this will kind of give you an idea of what these sound like. And I'm just kind of rambling on, so that way you have something to listen to in order for you to compare. And I think that is going to conclude this test of the COS SB45s.
Okay, and this one is the MXL Studio 24 USB, and this is what this one sounds like. And again, I'm just going to kind of ramble on a little bit, just so that way you can get kind of an idea of what this one sounds like. And hopefully that helps. And on to the next one. Okay, and last up for the microphones is the Blue USB. It's the THX certified USB mic that has all kinds of different funky controls on that I'm going to go over in just a second. And really, I'm just talking on again, just so that way you can kind of get an idea of what this one sounds like compared to the other ones. And yeah, I could restart the Declaration of Independence or something along those lines, but maybe you get the idea with just what I'm saying right now, right? Hopefully. Okay. So next up, I'm just going to go over the different features on each one of these microphones and kind of give you an idea of what you can expect when you pick one up. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, well, what the heck do you get when you get one of these particular microphones? Well, with the headset, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. If you've ever had a headset, then you know exactly what you're going to get when you buy one of these things. It's a headset, and it's got a microphone on it. There's not even any sort of like volume control. I know that sometimes with headsets, you'll get like a volume control or something along those lines to assist you on the microphone level. Sometimes they'll have a mute switch and all that kind of fancy stuff. Not this one. This is your bare bones headphones and microphone. So you're not going to get a whole heck of a lot of different crap with that one. With the MXL Studio 24 USB, you again don't have a whole lot of options with this guy. You have gain, and it's got a little input for headphones. So that way, if you have a separate set of headphones that you want to wear while you're using the microphone, then you have that as an option, which is really great for like podcasts and all that kind of stuff, or voiceover work where you want to monitor what you're recording as you're recording it. No frills. It's just a condenser microphone. It's got a nice windscreen on it there. And then there's this guy, the Blue. This is a beefy one. So on the bottom of it is where your USB connection is, just like on the MXL. Your USB connection is down here on the bottom. This one's got a USB. This one's a mini USB, and this one is more that, I don't know what the heck kind of USB connection it is, but it's that square sort of connection, this guy right here, as opposed to the mini USB connection that is off somewhere else. And this one has the volume control on it for the headphones that you also connect down through here as well. So you can, just like the MXL, you can plug in a pair of headphones to listen to what you're recording as you're recording it. And this controls the volume on the headphones, whereas this one doesn't have any kind of volume control for your headphones, so you're kind of out of luck. This one's kind of nice because it's got that right on there. And it also has a mute button that you can see right here that'll mute the microphone as you're recording it if you want to kind of like drop out some of the audio. Gain right here, and like I said in this one, the gain is right here. This one's kind of a nicer gain as opposed to this one where it's just kind of a smaller roller volume type of thing. This one has a little bit of a better feel to it because it's just nice and big. And then the other thing that's kind of unique about this one is it has all kinds of different pickup patterns. But this first one is the stereo, so it'll give you a nice wide stereo sound. The next one is just omnidirectional, where it just picks up in a big circle around it. The next pattern is directional, just for the person who's standing in front of the microphone, so that way it kind of cancels out some of the noise that's coming up from behind it. And then the last one is the setting I was talking about, where, you know, if you're doing a podcast or an interview or something along those lines, where you've got one person in front and one person behind, you would set to that last position, and then the microphone will pick it up equally in both positions and cancel stuff out that's coming to the left or to the right of it. So flexibility wise, this microphone is hands down the winner. One of the things that I didn't point out, and I've actually done to this one just because I like keeping mine on a boom, but it does come with this little microphone stand. So I'm not going to take it apart now, but it fits right into this thing here, and you can tilt it this way or that way and kind of get an idea of what it looks like here. But it screws onto this, and you can see the screws that I have on here. But normally that's where it would sit. And it's a nice heavy duty stand. It's got nice padded bottom to it also. One of the things that I really wish that it did have that it doesn't is a shock mount. And I don't know if you've seen shock mounts before, but it's basically where it suspends the microphone in the middle of it, so that way there's any kind of like rumbling going on, like low frequency noises or something like that, like trucks driving by or whatever, a suspension cage really helps to cancel a lot of that stuff out, and any kind of like accidental bumps and stuff like that, it mitigates all that. And it's really nice to have, just to make sure that things are going good. And that's it as far as like all the microphones and the features go. As far as the prices go, I should have probably written that down because I didn't. But you can find all this stuff on Amazon, and go check them out. I'll have to listen to them myself because I've never actually A, B, C'd all of the and D all of these different microphones. I forgot to go over the features of the Audio-Technica, and the features of the Audio-Technica are you plug it in. There isn't any on-off switch or anything like that. It's just nothing more than just a microphone. There's nothing fancy about it. It's all it's a very directional microphone, so that way right now it's pointing right at me, and that's all it's going to really pick up. Anything that's around it or behind it does a very good job of canceling all that out. And that's it. I hope that this helps you to decide, especially if you're doing any kind of like video work or voiceover work. Hopefully this will help you to decide which one of these guys might work for you. And that's it for now, and I will catch you guys next time on another review. And have a good day.
Hello. Today I am doing a video with audio comparison of two home studio microphones in the $100 to $130 price range. The first microphone is the Audio-Technica AT2020 USB, not the Plus version. I think it goes for approximately $100, give or take. And the blue Yeti, it goes for slightly more. It is also USB, and it has some features that the AT2020 does not. I'll be playing some acoustic guitar and singing. Before we do that, let's take a closer look at the two microphones. The first microphone is the Audio-Technica AT2020. It is slighter in build. I'm not sure that's necessarily a disadvantage. It's probably the diaphragm inside that really makes the difference. The stand is also slighter, and that does have a disadvantage with it. If you do not line up the microphone with one of the legs, so that the microphone is sitting directly over at least one of the legs, then the microphone will topple forward. So make sure when you're setting that up that you have one of the three legs that are rather spidery underneath. The Blue Icicles stand is very, very sturdy and robust. And indeed, the Yeti seems to be a very sturdy and robust microphone as well. Also, there are some features that are not found on the AT&T. This one here is volume. So you can plug a headphone into the microphone. You plug your USB into your laptop, and whether you're using GarageBand or whatnot, if you have existing tracks, they will come out on your headphone with this volume, which will adjust a mix for you, as well as what you're playing currently. So it gives you the feature of automatically doing a zero latency mix for you, as well as letting you hear what you play. That's an advantage to me. On the back, as well, there's a couple of features. This bottom dial lets you choose your pattern. You can have bidirectional, cardioid, omnidirectional, or stereo. I've done cardio, since the AT&T is cardio, so that we're comparing apples with apples, essentially. As well as a gain, so that you can adjust how strongly it's picking up the signal. Alright, so there's our two microphones, and we will go ahead and start the sound. Yay! ain't no use to sit and wonder why. Even you don't know by now, and there ain't no use to sit and wonder why. That'd never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the crack of dawn, look out your window, 'cause baby I'll be gone. You're the reason that I'm a-traveling on, but don't you think twice, it's alright. There ain't no use calling out my name like you never done before. Ain't no use calling out my name, girl, 'cause I can't hear you anymore. Thinking and I'm wandering as I wander down the road. I once loved a woman, a child I am told. Alright, so it's been a couple of weeks since we did the original comparison between the AT2020 and the Yeti by Blue. I really felt like both mics did an excellent job of capturing acoustic guitar and the nuances of the voice. The Yeti had some features that I really felt were very beneficial. The zero latency monitoring, the ability to hear yourself as you sang. However, ultimately, upon critical listening to the two tracks, I felt like the AT2020 captured the top end with slightly more openness. Both mics were accurate in capturing the room, but the AT2020 allowed my voice to sound a little breathier, and more noticeably, the strings had what I would have called a little bit of glisten on them. That helped give the guitar an attractive sound that I felt that the Yeti lacked. Both mics, I feel, deserve 5 stars for doing an excellent job of capturing audio, putting it straight to a computer for a very modest price. Ultimately, I returned both mics because I wanted that openness in the AT2020, but I couldn't live without the features that were found on the Yeti, so I have spent the extra money to step up to the AT2020 Plus model. It has the headphone out, zero latency monitoring. I'm assuming that the audio that it captures is at least as good as the AT2020 base model. I'll play a little bit of the song so we can all do a comparison. Sit and wonder why, even you don't know by now, and there ain't no use. Sit and wonder why, that'd never do somehow. When your rooster crows the crack of dawn, look out your window, honey, baby, I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm a-traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. There ain't no use calling out my name like you never done before. Ain't no use in calling out my name, sweet girl. Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
Alright, about the Geordie Gamers. As promised in the first video, we're going to do the audio comparison between the 3 microphones. So first up, we've got the Blue Snowball Ice. Then we've got the just the Blue Snowball, and then the the Blue Yeti to follow that one up. So yeah, here we go. The world is too big for love to be real. There are too many people in the world to ever know, beyond everything, that you are with the right person, that your heart is as swollen as it can be. Think of all the people in China. It is unlikely anyone will ever meet all of them. How can you know for certain that trapped inside a foreign language and thumping inside a foreign heart, there isn't a love that's meant for us? The infinite possibility of existence, its limitless potential, is the proof that we need that love is nothing more than an imagination. A human folly, friendship swollen with self-importance, a final retreat from the storm of possibility. The love of our life could so easily have been someone else. It is random and accidental, haphazard and unsystematic. That which we feel for one person, clinging on to the delusion of destiny, could so easily be felt for 1 million people. Should the timings and the meetings and the mutual readiness have coalesced at some other time in some other place, should someone else have accepted us or rejected us, then everything would have been different. And once we know this, we know that all love is a lie. Not honesty but deception, not heroism but cowardice, an unspoken agreement of mutual consolidation and compromise, a shield from the possibility and a bed in which to sleep. Nothing more than that. But I do still miss it. Right, so here's the 3 microphones, and pretty much this is the order in which they've been ranked. It is a price thing. Not a lot of difference between these two, and if I think you are on a budget and you were just going to be recording game audio, then probably this is a decent one to go to if you're tight for cash and maybe the money could be spent elsewhere. It sounds okay, maybe a little bit thinner, maybe not the richness that certainly this one has, but you can sort of tell the difference. I mean, the time I would go for this one is if you maybe there's got to be more than one of you recording from the same mic, solely because you've got the different options within here of how you're going to listen to that one.
Again, with that one though, it's going to be very unlikely for somebody who's doing maybe 2-person gameplay in the same room that you would benefit from it, because it only records from the front and back, and normally it would be in front of your monitor, so unless somebody was sitting behind your monitor and it was maybe suspended between the two of you, you probably wouldn't see the benefit of it. If you're side by side, it'll move out. And
I mean, that's for gaming, but if you were maybe doing something else, you could have it sat in the middle of a table for a podcast or something like that. It can pick up a bit more. Its sort of field is a bit bigger. So sort of losing these two now, and we'll sort of bring in the star of the show. Really, I thought much better. I mean, you've got the control of the gain and you've got the control of the volume. We've not tried it yet with the headset in, but obviously that's something else that's sort of it's got anyway, even if you don't use it. But definitely no, it's much sort of richer sound. It's just much nicer. So yeah, if you've got £100, obviously it's something you can get. It's going to be about sort of 40-50 quid more expensive than the other ones. eBay, you probably get cheaper. Yeah, I mean, I think with this, you seem to get a lot of people who I think I'll turn my hand at making videos, and they don't stick to it, so they stick these up on eBay. So I'd maybe have a look on there. But yeah, this is sort of what we think. This one definitely beats the rest, but between the Yeti Ice and the normal sort of standard Snowball, really it doesn't seem to make too much of a difference what you want to do. If you've got, obviously, just for gaming content, I'd probably go for the cheaper one, and like I say, spend your money elsewhere, maybe keep it to one side, and then if you think this is something you're going to stick with, maybe pick up the Yeti rather than the Snowball. But no, I hope someone's found this interesting. If you've got any questions, obviously the comments below. But yeah, that's it from me. I don't know if you've got anything to add there.
No, I think you've covered everything fairly succinctly there.
No, thanks a lot. Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Hey, what's up guys? Luke here reviewing the Blue Yeti microphone. Now this is one of the most popular and versatile multi-pattern USB microphones on the market, so let's check it out. The Blue Yeti consists of two parts, the stand and the mic. The stand is a 7-inch tall piece of nearly solid steel weighted to keep the mic from tipping over. The stand has padding on the bottom so it doesn't scratch your desk, as well as an adjustable axle that the mic rotates on. The microphone itself is about 7.5 inches in length and it has the same silver finish as the base. On the front of the mic, there's a mute button which mutes the mic and a volume knob which controls the volume of the headphone output. On the bottom of the mic, you'll find a mini USB port which connects it to your computer, a headphone jack, and a screw mount for use when the mic is off the stand. Now if you want to take the mic off the stand, just unscrew it on the sides and your mic is free. On the back of the mic, there are two knobs, one to control the gain and one to switch patterns. Overall, the build quality of this mic is incredibly sturdy and stylish. Perhaps the biggest appeal of this mic other than the price is what's on the inside. The mic features 3 premium condenser capsules that allows you to record using 4 different polar patterns. The patterns included in this mic are stereo, cardioid, omnidirectional, and bidirectional. These different patterns can make a huge difference in the quality of your recording, so let's take a look and see how they work. Alright, so I've got the mic hooked up here to my computer and I'm running the sound through Logic. And it works just how you want it to. It's plug and play, don't have to worry about anything. So let's check out some of the features here. The mute button works just how you'd want it to. And now there's sound. On the back we can play with the gain, which is going to deal with the background noise. So we're going to turn it down and up, and you should be able to hear a difference, especially if you're wearing headphones. So the last thing we'll look at is the different patterns that this mic features. Right now we're on cardioid mode, which means that the mic is only picking up sound at the front. So if I were to rotate this around, it's picking up less and less sound as I rotate it around. This pattern is really best for podcasting or videos like I'm doing right now, where you want to pick up the voice but not any of the surrounding noise. If you're doing something like an interview, you're going to want to be able to pick up sound on the front and the back of the mic, and that's where the bidirectional pattern comes in. I'm on the bidirectional pattern now, which means that the sound is being picked up from the front and the back. So if I rotate, you'll notice the sound is full here, not much sound on the side, and full sound on the back. If you want to pick up sound on all sides of the mic, you can switch to the omnidirectional pattern. So I'm on the omnidirectional pattern now, and you can hear as I rotate the mic, the sound is being picked up evenly on all sides. This is really ideal if you're going to be recording instruments in an ensemble or something like that. The last mode is stereo mode, which is really cool because it actually pans the sound from left to right as you move around the mic. Let me show you. So I'm on the stereo pattern now, which means as I move around the mic, you'll be able to hear it move from speaker to speaker or from headphone to headphone. It's really cool that the Blue Yeti has all of these features and patterns so you can get the most out of your recording. Overall, I've been really pleased with the sound quality that I get out of this mic. I use it for all of my videos and the vocals sound great. And with all the optional settings, this is a great mic to record instruments with as well. Some of the biggest things I like about this mic is how well built it is, the headphone output jack, and the 4 pattern settings. These features give you a lot of power in such a small package. As far as improvements I'd like to see to this mic, there are a few things. First, it's very easy to take the mic off the stand, but it's not easy to put it back on. There's lots of little parts and pieces to line up, and you could end up scratching the finish on your mic like I did trying to line it up correctly. Second, all the buttons don't seem to fit snugly. Now this is not a huge deal because they don't feel like they're going to break, but it's just something to note. The Blue Yeti comes in at $150, which is not a bad price, but you can find it online for cheaper if you look around. Either way, this is an incredibly versatile mic with a ton of features. From the serious podcaster to the everyday musician, you will definitely be happy with the Blue Yeti. Alright guys, that does it for my review today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.